What if I told you the reason you're experiencing that daily fatigue, that frustrating weakness in your legs, or that nagging sense of physical decline isn't actually your age? It's the critical nutrients missing from your dinner plate. Every year after 50, your body silently loses up to 3% of your muscle mass. It happens so gradually most people never notice until one day they can't lift their grandchild, or climb the stairs without grabbing the railing, or catch themselves when they slip. That's when the harsh reality hits home. My name is James. For over 3 decades, I've dedicated my life to helping thousands of seniors across America reclaim their strength, mobility, and independence, without endless prescription medications, exhausting gym routines, or expensive equipment. What I've discovered through years of clinical research, hands-on patient care, and studying ancient wisdom traditions might surprise you. What you eat matters far more profoundly than you've ever been told. In remote mountain villages of Japan, tiny fishing communities in Greece, and temples across China, men and women routinely live into their 90s and even past 100, yet they maintain remarkable strength, balance, and energy. They walk miles daily, they garden, they remain independent, all without protein shakes, supplements, or modern intervention. Their secret isn't complicated exercise regimens. It's not genetic luck. It's the specific foods they consume that nourish their muscles at a cellular level in ways most Americans never experience. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 extraordinary foods that can help restore your muscle mass, fight the inflammation silently destroying your strength, and revitalize the energy you thought was gone forever. These aren't expensive superfoods or exotic supplements. They're accessible, natural foods with remarkable properties for aging bodies. Even if you're already in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, it's not too late to transform your physical capability. The 7th food on this list, one you've likely never heard about, is so powerful that longevity researchers call it the cellular rejuvenator. Monks who regularly consume it maintain extraordinary strength well past 100 years old. Stay with me, because when you discover how to incorporate these foods into your daily life, everything about how you experience aging could change dramatically. Before we go deeper, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap that notification bell so you never miss another video that could help you stay strong, mobile, and independent as you age. And if you find this information helpful, type 1 in the comments below. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me create better content for your health journey. Now that you understand the real reason so many seniors are losing their strength and mobility, let's explore these extraordinary foods that have quietly preserved the vitality of the world's longest-lived populations and how they can help you restore what time has taken away. 1. Spinach, the silent builder of strength. And I'll never forget Martha, a 72-year-old grandmother who came to my clinic frustrated, nearly to tears. "I've always been strong," she told me. "I raised 4 children on my own, worked in my garden every day, and never needed help with anything. But now I can barely lift my shopping bags. My arms just give out." When I asked what she was feeding her muscles, she looked confused. "I take a calcium supplement," she offered. "But calcium alone can't rebuild what time has eroded." This quiet, unassuming leafy green, often pushed to the side of the plate or hidden in a sandwich, might be the most powerful ally your aging body has. Spinach isn't just healthy, it's specifically designed to rebuild what time gradually takes away: the muscle tissue you've lost, the stability that disappeared so slowly you barely noticed, and the energy that seems to vanish with each passing year. Here's the science. Spinach contains an extraordinary concentration of vitamin K, a nutrient chronically deficient in seniors, yet critical for muscle preservation. Vitamin K activates specific proteins in your body called matrix glial proteins that stimulate muscle cell regeneration and protect existing muscle from degradation. Without adequate vitamin K, your body quite literally cannot maintain its muscular framework. But that's just the beginning of spinach's muscle-building properties. It delivers a remarkable iron profile that dramatically improves oxygen delivery to your muscle tissues. Think of oxygen as the fuel your muscles need to generate energy. Without enough, they simply can't function at full capacity. leading to that familiar feeling of weakness and fatigue. The magnesium and potassium in spinach support proper nerve impulse transmission and muscle contractions, while its natural nitrates improve blood flow, delivering these nutrients more efficiently where they're needed. And when paired with vitamin C, which spinach also contains, these nutrients are absorbed more effectively and put to work immediately, rebuilding your strength. What makes spinach particularly valuable for seniors isn't just its nutritional density, it's how easily your body welcomes and utilizes it. As we age, digestion slows and heavy meals can feel burdensome. Spinach is light, gentle, and easily digestible, meaning less energy wasted on processing and more directed toward rebuilding your muscles. I've seen remarkable transformations with patients who simply added 1 cup of sautéed spinach to their daily routine. Within just 3 weeks, Martha could carry her groceries again. Within 6 weeks, she was back to gardening without fatigue, and within 2 months, she told me, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on in my body." That's not a miracle or a coincidence. It's your body's natural restoration process when finally given the precise nutrients it needs to rebuild. The beauty of spinach is its versatility. You can sauté it with a touch of olive oil and garlic, blend it into smoothies, layer it in sandwiches, or add it to soups. Even those who don't particularly enjoy vegetable flavors can find ways to incorporate this muscle-building powerhouse into their meals. And if that surprises you, that something so simple could be so transformative, just wait until you discover the tiny seed that monks have relied on for centuries to fortify their bones, strengthen their joints, and maintain remarkable inner strength despite never lifting weights. If you're finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's continue to our second remarkable food. Sesame seeds, the mineral powerhouse for aging bodies. One of the most profound lessons I've learned after decades of working with seniors is that sometimes the smallest things can make the most dramatic impact. I've witnessed men and women in their 70s and 80s regain stability in their knees, reduce persistent joint discomfort, and experience a deep, grounded strength returning to their bodies, all from consistently enjoying one tiny seed that most Americans barely notice. Sesame seeds. Those little specks you might brush off your hamburger bun or barely recognize in your stir-fry are nothing short of nutritional gold for aging bodies. They may appear insignificant, but make no mistake, these tiny kernels are nature's most concentrated mineral powerhouses. They're extraordinarily rich in calcium, providing more per tablespoon than milk, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, and iron. The exact mineral profile your musculoskeletal system desperately needs after 60. When you consume sesame seeds regularly, you're quite literally feeding the core infrastructure of your body, the bones that hold you upright, the joints that help you move, and the muscle fibers that contract with every step you take. But the real transformation comes from what sesame seeds do specifically for your muscles. Many seniors focus exclusively on protein when thinking about strength, but the truth is far more nuanced. Muscles need minerals just as critically as they need protein. Without adequate magnesium and calcium, your muscles cannot properly contract and relax, leading to that familiar weakness and cramping many seniors experience. Without zinc, your body struggles to synthesize protein into muscle tissue. Without iron, your muscles don't receive enough oxygen to generate energy. And without the healthy fats found in sesame seeds, you cannot produce the hormones essential for preserving muscle mass as you age. I remember working with Richard, a former construction worker in his late 70s who had become so unsteady on his feet that his family was considering assisted living options. His forearms, once powerful enough to carry lumber all day, had become thin and shaky. After learning about his typical diet, heavy on processed foods, light on minerals, I suggested he incorporate freshly ground sesame seeds into his daily routine. Just 2 tablespoons a day, I told him, sprinkled on whatever you're already eating. Richard was skeptical but willing to try anything to maintain his independence. 6 weeks later, he walked into my office with a different posture, more upright, more confident. "My legs feel connected to me again," he said, struggling to explain the sensation. "And look at this." He extended his arm and held it steady, showing how the trembling had subsided. That's the power of mineral restoration, not just feeding your body, but rebuilding its fundamental structure. The beauty of sesame seeds lies in their versatility and convenience. You can sprinkle them over rice, yogurt, oatmeal, or salads. Toast them lightly in a dry pan for a nuttier flavor. Grind them and mix them with a touch of honey for a calcium-rich spread. Even a small daily amount, as little as 1 to 2 tablespoons, can begin the process of rebuilding strength where it matters most. Your foundation. For maximum benefit, I recommend purchasing sesame seeds whole rather than pre-ground, as the oils stay fresher this way. Store them in the refrigerator and grind small batches as needed, using a coffee grinder or mortar and pestle. This simple habit preserves their nutritional potency and ensures you receive their full mineral spectrum. And if you think sesame seeds are impressive, wait until you discover the ancient root that's been called the fire of youth by traditional healers. The one that doesn't just strengthen muscles but awakens them, energizes them, and brings your entire body back to vibrant life. 3. Ginger, the awakener of vital energy. There's a moment I'll never forget from my practice. An 83-year-old retired professor named William came to see me after months of feeling what he described as dimmed. Not sick, not in pain, just faded. His energy was low, his movement stiff, and the spark in his eyes, which his wife of 58 years particularly missed, had dulled. After reviewing his health history, medications, and daily habits, I suggested a simple addition to his morning routine: fresh ginger tea, not from a tea bag, not powdered, but actual slices of the gnarly root steeped in hot water. 6 weeks later, William returned with his wife, both smiling broadly. "I started feeling something turning back on inside me," he said, struggling to find the right words. "It's like someone found the brightness dial and slowly turned it up. I feel awake again." His wife added, "He's back to taking our dog for long walks. He's reading again. He's William again." That's exactly what ginger does. It wakes the aging body up from the inside out. This humble root is far more than a spice. In Eastern medical traditions, it's known as the root of fire, and for profound reasons. As we age, our circulation naturally slows, our metabolism weakens, and our muscles recover more slowly after even minimal effort. This creates a cascade of declining energy, persistent stiffness, and diminished resilience. Ginger fundamentally interrupts this decline on multiple levels. First, it contains powerful compounds called gingerols and shogals that stimulate blood circulation throughout your entire body. When blood flows more efficiently, oxygen and nutrients reach your muscle tissues faster, waste products are removed more effectively, and your entire physical system operates with greater efficiency. Second, ginger is one of nature's most potent anti-inflammatory agents. This matters tremendously because chronic, low-grade inflammation is the silent destroyer of muscle tissue as we age. It creates a catabolic environment where your body breaks down muscle faster than it can rebuild it. By reducing this inflammatory burden, ginger creates the internal conditions where muscle preservation and growth become possible again. Third, and perhaps most noticeably, ginger creates warmth. That warming sensation you feel isn't just a pleasant experience. It's increased microcirculation reaching deep into tissues that have become cold, stiff, and underserved by your cardiovascular system. This warmth helps dissolve the accumulated tension patterns that restrict movement and drain energy with each passing year. But ginger's benefits extend beyond just physical restoration. It helps clear the fog that many seniors report feeling, that frustrating mental haziness that makes concentration difficult. By improving blood flow to the brain and reducing neuroinflammation, ginger helps restore mental clarity alongside physical vitality. I've recommended ginger to countless seniors struggling with fatigue, stiffness, sluggish recovery, and diminished enthusiasm for physical activity. One remarkable case was Eleanor, a 76-year-old former dance teacher who had gradually stopped moving altogether. "I just don't have it in me anymore," she told me during her first visit. We started with a simple ginger protocol. Each morning, she would grate 1 teaspoon of fresh ginger into hot water with a touch of honey and lemon. Each evening, she would add another teaspoon to whatever she was cooking for dinner. Within a month, Eleanor called me emotion in her voice. "I danced in my kitchen yesterday," she said. "Just a little, but I danced." That's what happens when the body's internal fire is reignited. Movement becomes inviting again. Energy returns. The desire to engage with life physically comes back online. The key to ginger's effectiveness lies in frequency and freshness. Rather than using it occasionally, incorporate small amounts daily. Keep fresh ginger in your freezer, it grates more easily when frozen, and add it to soups, stir-fries, smoothies, or tea. Even a daily total of 1 tablespoon, distributed throughout your meals, can begin shifting your energy patterns within weeks. Beyond just physical benefits, ginger reconnects you to your fundamental vitality, your drive, your enthusiasm for movement. It doesn't just strengthen your muscles. It reminds your entire system that you're alive, capable, and designed to move with pleasure well into your later years. As powerful as ginger is, the next food on our list doesn't just awaken energy. It repairs the very foundation of strength by addressing a critical issue that 90% of seniors unknowingly suffer from. It purifies, restores, and builds from the inside out, targeting a system that most conventional approaches to muscle health completely overlook. If you're still finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's explore our 4th strength, restoring food. 4. Plums, the gentle cleanser that rebuilds. When most people think about rebuilding muscle mass after 60, they immediately focus on protein intake, perhaps strength training, or maybe supplements. Rarely, almost never, do they consider the importance of internal cleansing. Yet in my experience, especially with seniors, what your body can absorb is just as crucial as what it's given. This is where plums, particularly dried plums, prunes, reveal their extraordinary restoration power. I recall a distinguished gentleman in his mid-70s, a former military officer named James, who came to me frustrated after months of following a high-protein diet and basic strength exercises without results. Despite doing everything right according to conventional wisdom, he remained weak, fatigued, and increasingly discouraged. "I'm eating more protein than I ever have," he told me. "I'm taking walks, I'm doing everything they say to do. Why am I still feeling weaker every month?" The answer became clear after reviewing his overall health picture. His digestive system was dramatically compromised. His intestines were sluggish, inflamed, and inefficient, creating a situation where the nutrients he was consuming simply weren't being properly absorbed into his bloodstream and delivered to his muscles. When I suggested dried plums as a central part of his recovery strategy, he was understandably skeptical. "Prunes? That's your medical advice?" 3 weeks later, his skepticism had vanished. "I feel lighter," he reported, "not just in my digestion but throughout my body. The heaviness in my legs is lifting. I can stand up from my chair without using the armrests again." There's a quiet kind of healing that happens when you remove the accumulated waste that's been building up inside your body for years. Plums facilitate this gentle yet powerful detoxification process, while simultaneously delivering an impressive array of muscle-supporting nutrients. Plums, especially in their dried form, contain unique compounds called phenols that reduce systemic inflammation throughout your body. This matters tremendously because inflammation is a primary driver of muscle loss in aging adults. When inflammation persists, your body remains in a stress state, where it breaks down muscle tissue faster than it can rebuild it. But the real magic of plums lies in their ability to restore digestive function. Their specific fiber profile, both soluble and insoluble, helps cleanse the intestinal walls of accumulated debris while promoting the growth of beneficial gut bacteria. These beneficial bacteria are absolutely essential for proper nutrient extraction and absorption. Think of it this way: you could consume the perfect diet for muscle building, but if your digestive system is compromised, those nutrients never actually reach your muscle tissues in usable form. It's like trying to water plants with a hose full of holes. The water never reaches its destination. Plums effectively repair those holes and create an environment where true nourishment can take place. They're high in vitamin K, which supports protein utilization in muscle tissue. They contain boron, a trace mineral crucial for bone health and hormone production. And their unique antioxidant profile helps protect muscle cells from oxidative stress, the cellular rusting that accelerates with age. Another remarkable case from my practice involved Martha, a 68-year-old who had become increasingly frustrated by unexpected weakness and fatigue despite her otherwise good health. After incorporating just 3 dried plums daily for 1 month, she reported, "I don't feel bloated anymore. My joints feel more lubricated, and I have this sense of lightness I haven't felt in years." This transformation wasn't magical, it was physiological. By improving her digestive efficiency, reducing her inflammatory burden, and delivering key muscle-supporting nutrients, the plums created conditions where her natural strength could re-emerge. For best results, I recommend consuming 3-5 dried plums daily, preferably in the early evening. Chew them thoroughly and follow with a glass of warm water to enhance their cleansing properties. If you prefer fresh plums, 2 medium-sized fruits daily can provide similar benefits, though the dried version offers a more concentrated nutrient profile. The wisdom of plums extends beyond mere nutrition. In East Asian traditions, the plum is considered a symbol of perseverance and renewal, bearing fruit even after the harshest winters. This symbolism reflects what plums do inside your body. They help you recover, regenerate, and restore strength even after long periods of decline. If you've been feeling like your body is weighed down, like you've been doing everything right but still not regaining the strength you want, the answer might not be more food or more exercise. It might be cleaner, more efficient digestion. And plums might be the simple, natural solution you've been overlooking. But while plums create the space for healing by clearing the pathway for nutrients, our next food actually builds the foundation of physical and spiritual resilience like nothing else in nature. It's the hidden secret behind the extraordinary strength of centenarian monks. And it may be the most powerful food for aging bodies you've likely never heard of. 5. Lotus seeds. The seed of longevity and inner power. Every once in a while, you encounter a food that feels like more than just nourishment. It feels like a form of ancient wisdom made edible. That's how I've come to view lotus seeds after years of studying their effects in my older patients and learning from traditional healing systems. In remote temple communities across Asia, monks who routinely live into their 90s and beyond rely on lotus seeds not merely as a source of protein or calories, but as a fundamental pillar of their physical resilience. These aren't ceremonial snacks or symbolic foods. They're foundational to the remarkable longevity and strength these elders maintain decade after decade. I first discovered the extraordinary power of lotus seeds while visiting a monastery in northern Japan, where I met an 89-year-old monk who could still climb steep mountain paths carrying heavy buckets of water. When I asked about his remarkable physical capacity, he simply smiled and opened his hand to reveal a small pouch of what looked like pale, rounded nuts. "Lotus," he said simply, "the seed that survived the flood." This reference wasn't just poetic, it was profoundly accurate. Lotus seeds have been found viable and able to germinate after being dormant for over 1,000 years. This extraordinary resilience, this capacity to preserve life force through centuries, reflects exactly what these seeds do inside the aging human body. Nutritionally, lotus seeds are truly exceptional. They contain approximately 24% protein by weight, a complete plant protein containing all essential amino acids in forms highly bioavailable to older digestive systems. Unlike animal proteins that can increase inflammatory markers or plant proteins that may be difficult to digest, lotus seed protein is light, clean, and exceptionally gentle on aging intestines. This matters tremendously because protein utilization becomes increasingly challenging with age. After 60, your body typically requires more protein while simultaneously becoming less efficient at processing it, a frustrating paradox that leads many seniors to experience muscle loss despite adequate protein intake. Lotus seeds solve this problem by providing protein in a form your body immediately recognizes and efficiently utilizes. They're also exceptionally rich in minerals critical for muscle function, including magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, and zinc, the very minerals that become more difficult to absorb with advancing age. Perhaps most importantly for muscle preservation, lotus seeds contain unique compounds called alkaloids that help regulate inflammation throughout the body. This anti-inflammatory action prevents the catabolic breakdown of muscle tissue that typically accelerates after age 60. I've witnessed remarkable transformations in patients who incorporated lotus seeds into their regular diet. One particularly memorable case involved Robert, a 79-year-old former accountant who had become so physically diminished that he required assistance to stand from his chair. After 3 months of consuming lotus seed soup twice weekly, he walked into my office unassisted, smiling broadly. "My children can't believe the change," he told me. "I'm standing taller. I can get up without pushing off with my hands. I feel substantial again." That word, whew, substantial, captures exactly what lotus seeds provide. They rebuild the fundamental substance of your body, the physical material that gives you form, function, and resilience. Beyond their physical benefits, lotus seeds have remarkable effects on mental clarity and emotional stability. They contain compounds that support neurotransmitter production and regulate stress hormones, creating a calm, focused state of mind that monks have valued for centuries. This cognitive support is increasingly recognized as essential for maintaining physical strength in later years, as mental clarity directly impacts movement quality, balance, and coordination. To incorporate lotus seeds into your diet, look for them in Asian markets or online specialty stores. They're typically available dried and can be prepared by simmering in water until tender, about 30–45 minutes, after which they develop a soft, starchy texture somewhat similar to chestnuts. Their flavor is mild and slightly sweet, making them adaptable to both savory dishes like soups and stews, or sweet preparations with a touch of honey or cinnamon. For greatest benefit, consume about 1/4 cup of prepared lotus seeds 2–3 times weekly. Their effects are cumulative, building gradually over time as they restore your body's fundamental resilience from the inside out. So if you're looking not just to recover strength, but to reclaim your vitality at its most fundamental level, lotus seeds may be the single most important food you can introduce into your diet. They don't just feed your muscles, they rebuild your entire physical foundation with a wisdom that modern nutrition is only beginning to understand. But as remarkable as these ancient foods are, there's another dimension to muscle preservation that most nutrition experts completely overlook, and it involves a humble root vegetable that Japanese centenarians consider essential to their longevity. Let's discover this overlooked treasure next. 6. Sweet potatoes, the cellular fuel restorer. When Margaret, an active 74-year-old grandmother, came to my clinic reporting that she could barely climb a single flight of stairs without stopping to rest, her primary concern was her heart. "Is something wrong with my cardiovascular system?" she asked worriedly. "I've always been active, but now I feel like my body just quits on me." After ruling out cardiac issues through appropriate testing, I began examining her diet more closely. What I discovered was a pattern I've seen countless times in aging adults, a critical deficiency in the specific type of energy fuel that mature muscles require to function optimally. This is where the humble sweet potato, overlooked, underappreciated, and often misunderstood, reveals its extraordinary power for aging bodies. Sweet potatoes aren't just a Thanksgiving side dish. In Okinawa, Japan, home to one of the world's highest concentrations of healthy centenarians, they've traditionally made up to 60% of the daily diet. These remarkable elders don't just live long, they maintain physical strength, mobility, and independence well into their 90s and beyond. The sweet potato is so central to their longevity that they have a saying: "The sweet potato is the food of the ancestors, the food of life." Why are sweet potatoes so uniquely beneficial for aging muscles? The answer lies in understanding how muscle energy changes as we age. After 60, your muscles experience a significant decline in mitochondrial function, the tiny power plants inside your cells that convert food to usable energy. This decline means muscles fatigue more quickly, recover more slowly, and gradually lose their capacity to sustain even moderate activity. You might feel this as a new kind of tiredness that doesn't match your exertion level, or a frustrating weakness that comes on suddenly during normal activity. Sweet potatoes address this energy crisis directly through their unique carbohydrate profile. They provide a remarkably stable, slow-releasing form of glucose that fuels muscle cells efficiently without the blood sugar spikes and crashes that can come from other carbohydrate sources. This matters tremendously because stable blood sugar is essential for sustained muscle function and recovery, especially in older adults. But sweet potatoes offer far more than just clean fuel. They're exceptionally rich in beta-carotene, which converts to vitamin A in your body. This powerful antioxidant protects muscle cell membranes from oxidative damage, the cellular rust that accelerates dramatically with age and contributes to muscle weakness. They also contain unique compounds called anthocyanins, particularly in purple-fleshed varieties, that reduce inflammation throughout the body, creating conditions where muscle tissue can repair and rebuild, rather than progressively degenerate. Perhaps most importantly for aging muscles, sweet potatoes are rich in potassium, a mineral critically involved in proper muscle contraction and nerve impulse transmission. Potassium deficiency is shockingly common among seniors and directly contributes to muscle weakness, fatigue, and poor recovery. After reviewing Margaret's typical diet, I noticed it was almost entirely lacking in these specific nutrients. We developed a simple plan that included a medium-sized sweet potato with her dinner most evenings. Within just 3 weeks, she reported a noticeable difference in her stamina. "I'm not getting that strange sudden fatigue anymore," she told me. By 6 weeks, she was climbing stairs again without stopping. "It feels like someone turned my power back on," she said. This transformation wasn't coincidental, it was physiological. By providing her muscles with the precise fuel they needed, we restored her cellular energy production capabilities and addressed the underlying cause of her weakness. The beauty of sweet potatoes lies in their versatility and simplicity. You can bake them, steam them, roast them, or even thinly slice and air fry them for a crispy treat. For maximum benefit, keep the skin on whenever possible, as it contains additional fiber and nutrients that support digestive health and nutrient absorption. For optimal muscle energy support, aim to include a medium-sized sweet potato in your diet 3-4 times weekly. Pair it with a small amount of healthy fat such as olive oil or avocado, as this enhances the absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins they contain. The wisdom of sweet potatoes extends beyond just their nutritional profile. In many traditional cultures, they symbolize groundedness, sustenance, and the ability to thrive even in challenging conditions, qualities we all need as we navigate the later seasons of life. If you've been experiencing unexplained fatigue, a new kind of weakness that doesn't match your activity level, or poor recovery after even moderate exertion, sweet potatoes might be the missing element your muscles have been silently requesting. While sweet potatoes restore your cellular energy, our next food, perhaps the most surprising on our list, rebuilds the very structure that holds your muscles in proper alignment, ensuring that your newfound strength translates to fluid, pain-free movement well into your 80s and beyond. 7. Bone broth, the structural matrix restorer. When John, a 77-year-old retired architect, came to my office with shoulders hunched forward, spine compressed, and a shuffle in his previously confident stride, his first words to me were painful to hear. "I feel like my body is collapsing in on itself." His words were more accurate than he realized. What he was experiencing wasn't simply muscle loss, it was the deterioration of his body's fundamental structural matrix, the intricate network of connective tissues that holds muscles in proper alignment and allows for fluid, pain-free movement. This is where bone broth, perhaps the most overlooked yet profoundly restorative food for aging bodies, reveals its remarkable healing power. In traditional cultures across the world, from the villages of Greece to the mountains of Peru, elders have long relied on slowly simmered bone broths, not as a trendy health food, but as essential medicine for aging bodies. They understood intuitively what modern research has now confirmed: The specific compounds in properly prepared bone broth directly rebuild the structural elements that preserve physical function as we age. Bone broth isn't simply flavored stock. When bones, joints, and connective tissues are slowly simmered for extended periods, typically 24-48 hours, they release a complex array of compounds that are nearly impossible to obtain from other food sources. Compounds your body uses as direct building materials to reconstruct its deteriorating framework. Chief among these are collagen, gelatin, glycine, proline, and glucosamine, the exact nutrients that make up your body's fascial system, joint surfaces, and the structural lattice that holds your muscles in proper alignment. Without these specific building blocks, muscles may technically be strong, but unable to function properly due to structural misalignment. This matters tremendously after age 60 because your body's natural production of these compounds declines dramatically while your need for them simultaneously increases. This creates a widening gap between what your structural system requires for maintenance and what your body can produce on its own. I've witnessed remarkable transformations in patients who incorporated genuine bone broth into their regular diet. John, the architect I mentioned earlier, began consuming 1 cup of homemade beef bone broth daily. Within just 2 months, the change in his posture was visible. His shoulders had naturally pulled back, his spine had lengthened, and the painful shuffle in his walk had notably improved. "I feel like my body is remembering how to hold itself properly again," he told me during a follow-up visit. "The strange pulling sensations in my back are gone. I stand taller without even trying." This transformation wasn't psychological, it was structural. The specific amino acid profile in bone broth had provided his body with the precise materials needed to rebuild the deteriorating connective tissues that previously left his muscles misaligned and inefficient. Beyond structural support, bone broth contains powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that reduce the chronic inflammation that slowly degrades muscle tissue over time. It provides easily absorbed minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus that support bone density, the skeletal foundation upon which all muscle function depends. Perhaps most importantly for seniors, bone broth helps heal the intestinal lining, enhancing nutrient absorption and reducing the gut inflammation that can contribute to systemic issues throughout the body. This improved digestive function ensures that all the other nutrients you consume are more effectively utilized for muscle maintenance and recovery. Unlike many trendy health foods, bone broth's benefits are substantiated by both centuries of traditional wisdom and modern research. Studies have demonstrated its effectiveness in reducing joint pain, improving mobility, and enhancing the body's natural healing processes, benefits particularly valuable for aging bodies. To incorporate genuine bone broth into your diet, I recommend preparing it at home whenever possible. Start with bones from pasture-raised animals. Beef, chicken, or turkey work well. Add a splash of apple cider vinegar, which helps extract nutrients from the bones, and simmer on very low heat for 24 to 48 hours. The resulting broth should gel when refrigerated, a sign that it contains the beneficial collagen your body needs. If making your own isn't practical, look for quality commercial options that use bones from properly raised animals and simmer them for appropriate lengths of time. Be wary of products labeled simply as stock or broths with short cooking times, as these won't contain the full spectrum of beneficial compounds. For optimal results, consume 8 to 12 ounces of bone broth daily, either as a warm beverage or used as a base for soups and stews. Results typically begin appearing within 4-6 weeks and continue improving with consistent use. While John's transformation was remarkable, it wasn't unusual. I've seen similarly impressive changes in dozens of patients who committed to regular bone broth consumption. Back straightening, joints moving more freely, and a kind of structural integrity returning to bodies that had begun to feel like they were literally falling apart. So if you've been experiencing not just weakness, but a sense that your body's alignment has changed, shoulders rolling forward, spine compressing, joints feeling unstable, bone broth might be the missing element in your nutritional approach to aging well. But as powerful as each of these foods is individually, there's something even more important I need to share with you. a fundamental truth about nourishing your body after 60 that transcends any single ingredient. 8. The deeper message: food alone is not enough. By now, you've learned about 7 remarkable foods that can help restore your strength, rebuild your muscles, and revitalize your energy at a cellular level. But there's something profoundly important I need to share with you, a truth I've come to understand after working with thousands of older adults who sincerely wanted to reclaim their health and vitality. Food alone is not enough. I've seen seniors diligently eat all the right foods, follow every nutrition recommendation, take their supplements faithfully, drink their water, and still feel tired, unstable, or progressively weaker. And it's not because the foods didn't contain the right nutrients or because their bodies couldn't respond. It's because true healing, especially after 60, doesn't happen in isolation. Your body doesn't exist separate from your breath, your movement patterns, your sleep quality, your stress levels, or your emotional well-being. These elements speak louder in your physiology than any single ingredient ever could. In Buddhist monasteries, where some of the world's most vibrant elders live, meals are sacred experiences. They're eaten slowly, with presence and profound gratitude. Monks chew thoroughly, breathe deeply between bites, and maintain complete awareness of the nourishment entering their bodies. They don't eat while distracted by screens, while rushing to the next activity, or while stressed about unresolved problems. This isn't merely spiritual practice. It's profound physiological wisdom. When you eat in a stressed state, your digestive enzymes decrease by up to 60%. Blood flow diverts away from your digestive organs. Nutrient absorption diminishes dramatically, and the anti-inflammatory processes that protect your muscles simply cannot function properly. I remember working with Elaine, a determined 72-year-old, who had been meticulously following every nutritional recommendation I'd given her, yet still wasn't seeing the improvements in strength and energy she hoped for. During a follow-up visit, I asked her to describe how she typically ate her meals. "Usually standing at the counter," she admitted. "I check my emails, watch the news, make calls. I'm efficient that way." When we modified nothing about her food choices but simply had her sit down, turn off all devices, take 3 deep breaths before eating, and fully focus on her meal, the changes began almost immediately. Within 3 weeks, she reported better digestion, more energy, and a surprising sense of emotional calm she hadn't experienced in years. You can consume spinach, sesame seeds, ginger, plums, lotus seeds, sweet potatoes, and bone broth in perfect proportions, but if your body remains in a chronic stress state, if you rarely move, if you carry unresolved emotional burdens, if your sleep is consistently poor, the nutrients simply cannot do their work effectively. This is especially true regarding movement. In monastic traditions, gentle, intentional movement is integrated throughout the day. Not punishing exercise, not exhausting routines, but consistent, mindful movement that maintains circulation, joint mobility, and muscular engagement. Your muscles require this movement to properly utilize the nutrients you're providing them. I've had patients change nothing in their diet but simply begin a practice of gentle walking after meals, or 5 minutes of basic stretching upon waking, or standing up and moving for 2 minutes every hour. And those changes unlocked what their carefully planned diets alone could not. The nutrients finally began working. The inflammation subsided. Their strength returned, not overnight, but steadily, sustainably. This isn't about chasing perfection or completely overhauling your life. It's about small, conscious choices, repeated daily. Can you take 3 deep breaths before each meal? Can you eat without screens for just 1 meal each day? Can you stand up and gently move your body for 2 minutes each hour? Can you express genuine gratitude for the nourishment on your plate, even silently? These practices aren't separate from nutrition. They're an essential part of it. They create the internal environment where healing becomes possible, where nutrients can be properly utilized, where your body can finally benefit from the remarkable foods you're providing it. So yes, incorporate these 7 powerful foods into your daily life, but also ask yourself, am I giving my body the rhythm it needs to thrive? Am I creating the conditions where true healing can occur? Am I honoring the wholeness of my being, body, breath, movement, rest, and heart? Because the secret isn't just what's on your plate. It's in how you live with, move with, breathe with, and honor your body throughout each day. And when you embrace that deeper understanding, what becomes possible isn't just improved strength. It's a transformed experience of aging itself. A stronger future begins with one choice. We all reach a moment when we feel time more deeply than before. Not just in birthdays or calendars, but in our joints, our energy levels, our ability to move through the day with confidence and ease. Perhaps you've felt that lately, that moment when getting up from a chair takes a little more effort, when walking feels heavier than it used to, or when you wake up wondering where the vitality you once took for granted has gone. It can feel like your body is quietly slipping away from you, becoming less familiar, less capable with each passing month. But I want to tell you something that most healthcare professionals won't. Aging doesn't have to mean weakening. Losing strength and mobility is not inevitable. And even if you've already experienced significant decline, even if you've already felt your muscles diminish and your energy fade, it's not too late to change your trajectory. What you've discovered today isn't just information about 7 remarkable foods. It's an invitation to reclaim your relationship with your body in a way that's simple, sustainable, and deeply honoring of exactly where you are right now. You don't need to live in a monastery to age with the strength and resilience of a monk. You don't need expensive supplements, extreme diets, or punishing exercise regimens. What you need, what your body has been quietly asking for, is intentional nourishment and the rhythm of care that allows true healing to unfold. This might look like adding spinach to your morning eggs, sprinkling sesame seeds over your lunch salad, sipping ginger tea in quiet moments, enjoying sweet potatoes with dinner, adding a few plums to your evening routine, exploring lotus seeds as a weekly addition to soups, or sipping bone broth as a daily practice. These aren't dramatic interventions. They're gentle, consistent acts of care. They're ways of telling your body, I see you, I value you, I want to provide what you need to thrive in this chapter of life. You may be 65, 75, 85, or beyond, and you may believe it's simply too late to change your physical trajectory. But let me assure you, your body is still listening. It's still responding. It's still capable of remarkable regeneration when given the right support. What you do today, even if it's just incorporating one of these foods into your meals or taking 3 conscious breaths before eating, will shape what your next decade feels like. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I think of George, a 79-year-old patient who came to me nearly immobilized by weakness and joint pain. He believed his situation was hopeless, that at his age, decline was simply to be expected and endured. We started with just one change: a cup of homemade bone broth each morning, sipped slowly while sitting in morning sunlight. 6 months later, George was not only walking unassisted again, but had resumed tending his beloved garden. I thought I was just waiting to die, he told me, eyes bright with emotion. Now, I'm planning what to plant next spring. That's the power of nourishing your body with intention and respect. It doesn't just strengthen your muscles, it renews your sense of future. So here's my invitation to you. Start today. Choose just one food from this list that resonates with you. Incorporate it into your life, not as a medicine you have to take, but as an act of care you choose to give yourself. Begin with this single step, not out of fear, but out of love, out of the quiet belief that your body deserves to be nourished completely. You are not too old to grow stronger. You are not too far gone to begin healing, and you are certainly not meant to accept weakness and decline as your inevitable fate. If this message resonates with you, I hope you'll take that first step today. And if you know someone else who's silently struggling with diminishing strength or mobility, someone who's begun to believe that weakness is simply their new normal, share these insights with them, because a stronger future is possible at any age, and it begins with one conscious choice to care for yourself differently. These insights aren't just information. They're an invitation to live more fully and authentically in the body you have right now. I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to share one insight you've gained or one change you plan to make. Your experience might inspire someone else who's just beginning their journey toward renewed strength. If you found value in this video, please comment with a 1 below. If not, feel free to comment with a 0. Your feedback helps me create more relevant content for your needs. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss upcoming videos on aging with strength, dignity, and joy. Thank you for your presence and attention today. Here's to honoring your body's wisdom and embracing the remarkable strength that remains available to you at any age.